off with Diane dos Santos of Brazil.
And this, I tell you, Al, could be one of those moments. Way back in 1972, I remember turning my television set on and watching a girl named Olga Korbut captivate the world. This young lady has a lot of those same qualities.
Whoa! That's a tenth of a deduction.
Gets a huge ovation here. Tim, you get the feeling maybe on that first pass she just had too much energy.
Well, actually, she even made something that was so difficult, more difficult for this Olympic final. Tries to do an Arabian double front in the laid out position. This is brand new for the Olympic Games. Have never seen this performed.
Wow.
And just has too much energy, takes those steps forward and out of bounds.
We watched her in practice. She was super, super bouncy on the floor. I'm not at all surprised.
And she'll score well below what she did in qualifying, a 9.375. Next up from Spain, Patricia Moreno. Spain has already won a gold medal tonight. Gervasio de Ferrer. Maybe there's some Spanish magic here.
Horacio won that gold medal on the vault for the men.
What'd you think?
She does tons of difficulty in her tumbling passes. Actually does a 3.5 twist, the only one in the competition. But, you know, visible errors on the landings on all her tumbling.
But, you know, sometimes the most difficult looking things aren't the most difficult. This is really hard. Very few gymnasts in the world have ever even tried this. This is 3.5 times around. It's just so difficult to get your body to twist that many times. But once again, like we saw with Dos Santos, she shows a little bit of lack of control on the landing.
See how it compares to the 9.375, which is where the bar was set. And a 9.487, good enough to put Patricia Moreno of Spain in the lead. But we have gymnasts to come who have scored above 9.6 in qualifying. One of them is Cheng Fei. She scored a 9.65 to qualify.
And this is really just a wonderful routine. She puts everything together. A double twisting, double somersault at the beginning.
And
Beautiful.
Tim, the music just makes you sort of turn and look up and say, hey, who's going? This is unbelievable, this performance.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
She put a smile on my face. You know, she's such a little girl, but when she's out there on the floor, she looks so tall. Her performance was big. The music was just wonderful. It drew me in.
Incredible tumbling, starting off with this double twisting, double somersault. Very, very few people in the world capable of doing this. I believe she's the only athlete at these Olympic Games doing a double twisting, double somersault. Little bit off on the landing, but wow, can she tumble? She dances. She's great.
9.412 for Cheng Fei of China. That will put her in second place. And some whistles cascading down. The fans here at the Olympic Indoor Hall didn't like how long it took.
That score's too low, Al.
You saw her shaking her head, and I couldn't agree more.
Still to come from the United States, Mohini Bardwaj, surprisingly the only member of the U.S. team in this floor exercise final. On a gold medal on the night. Catalina Ponor of Romania, and as good as she can be on the balance beam, is as graceful as she can be in floor exercise.
And now, as I said on balance beam, what she has coming into floor exercise is reputation. Once again, she has a couple of medals. Last year, silver from the World Championships. This year, the gold medal at the Europeans. solid tumbling passes, that's going to be your new leader.
Well, if after these Olympic Games, Romanian gymnastics had an IPO sort of like Google, through the roof.
Very powerful, full twisting double somersault. She also does it in pike position, keeping her legs straight.
Of course, coming down to the final tumbling pass, this being her 4th one in the routine. Just a double pike. All she had to do was plant her legs onto the floor. Not go out of bounds. Not a problem.
And she has been duly rewarded with a 9.75. They just have not been handing out numbers like that on floor exercise. Another Romanian celebration is imminent. Let's get in the head now for a moment of Mohini Bardwaj. Making the Olympic team was not a guaranteed thing. Getting to the point where she can star for herself, forget it. Now, with the scores that have come so far, she can legitimately think of a medal. It's the biggest roar so far. She'll keep that one.
She sure will. What an Olympic Games. What a story. This young lady barely made it out of the first round of competition and has gotten better and better and better.
And can you believe that she qualified into this day of competition? She led the team off in the first day of team competition. It was a huge score, not to mention a huge opening tumbling pass. Everybody just kind of gasps when they see Mo do this.
Double laid out somersault, 2 flips, completely in a stretched position, and then she spots the ground, bang, punches that floor, changes direction.
That was the best one we've seen from her.
Great, great stuff.
But it's not scored greatly. Mohini Bardwaj gets a 9.312. She doesn't love it, and it's another score the crowd doesn't understand.
Well, what they have to understand is the start value of her routine was out of a 9.7, so that's the maximum. But I actually thought that was just a little bit too low.
Looked like Mohini was counting the deductions that she thought she should get with Coach Chris Waller, but she's going home with an Olympic team silver medal. And that's a pretty darn good story. A nice finish to that one. Here's Alina Kozic, a teammate on the men's side, has already made it a great night for her country.
Whoa.
Well, very ambitious first tumbling run, and we've seen her do that so well here in Athens, but you take the big risk, and sometimes you sit down 0.5 of a point, and she was out of bounds as well. An additional deduction.
Sophie, off of that routine, Alina Kozic won't figure in the medals. It's too bad. A lot more was expected of her.
Oh, absolutely. She was the all-around winner at the European Championships and never lived up to that title here in Athens.
And now we're going to get another glimpse at the Romanian depth. Oana Ban, who was part of the gold medal winning team here for Romania, had a leg injury, and she's out. And so Daniela Sofroni steps in for her. She's obviously good enough to challenge for a medal, but what about the gold that's currently being held by her teammate?
I think that score is far too high for her to achieve, but she should factor in to a medal, as you said.
Kozic in the eights. And boy, Tim, Octavian Bellou has had the magic touch in back-to-back Olympics. 9 medals combined now for the men's and the women's. He's responsible for the women's success. How do you summarize what he's been able to do?
It's remarkable. It's truly remarkable, and with a Romanian going last at these Olympic Games, it's fitting. They only have 9, but with her going, my guess is they're going to end up with 10.
You know, in back-to-back Olympics, they've been the dominant team on the women's side. You could say dynasty, but dynasties usually have athletes that carry through. This is a totally different group with the same success, and even at a different level here. Be a short list of deductions.
You know what's amazing to me is she was just an alternate last year at the World Championships, 5th in the individual all-around here. No question this routine will get a medal.
I concur.
Catalina Ponor, her teammate, has a 9.75. Silver right now is Patricia Moreno of Spain. And that's a 9.487, so if she finishes between those two, and the Romanians think they've done it, they gather for a team hug another time.
Been a lot of Romanian hugging going on, deservedly so.
Well, how about this? They're going to win a gold here. As a team, they could have won 6, max. They're going to win 4. And there's Andrea Radican, who was part of that Romanian team in Sydney. And I'd love to hear what she is saying back to her homeland about what has happened here in the sport of gymnastics. She's going to fight, Radican is, to get her gold medal back from Sydney. And I think she's got a pretty good case for that. The drug that she took, which was a cold tablet, is no longer even illegal. But I don't think she's thinking about that right now. It looks as though she's just clapping with pride that she's part of this. She's part of what's been built in the last decade in Romanian gymnastics. No medal for Mohini Bardwaj, but she's done a lot of smiling here in Athens. Back to California she goes with that team silver Olympic medal, and the Romanians go back home on about a 2-hour flight with a lifetime of stories about what they did here in Greece.